Okay, so from your research, from the 60s till date, do we have anything to celebrate from what you've seen economically?
No, clearly. I talked about in terms of how we've been able to manage our students' education. There's some areas we could celebrate on education. In terms of our appetite for foreign manufactured goods, we have lots of reasons to celebrate on that. In 1960, for instance...
And you say that without a hint of sarcasm. I mean, let's face it, in terms of our appetite for foreign manufactured goods, why is that anything to celebrate in the very first instance?
No, well, if it's interesting, or if we go back again, unless the figures are wrong, the figures as of 1960 points to the fact that we were importing about 49% of our manufactured goods. As of today, that is down to about 14%. So clearly, it's either the appetite for manufactured goods has waned, or clearly we've been able to achieve that because of some level of development in the domestic manufacturing sector, or we've transferred our appetite into new things. But we have reasons to celebrate in the manufacturing sector. We probably don't have reasons to... we probably could put a lead on the level of celebration. In terms of, you could look at in terms of the other areas we could also celebrate. We could celebrate in terms of our agricultural sector development. Clearly, between the Fourth Republic and now, we've made significant progress in the agricultural sector. We could look at the health sector as well. Though we're still far from the Millennium Development Goals, we've been able to reduce infant mortality, we've been able to reduce the number of cases of malaria, we've been able to reduce the number of deaths by pregnant women. So we've made success, some level of success in those sectors.
Give us your thoughts on expectations from leadership across board, because I mean, we did ask Chief Akinjide earlier on that. I mean, at their age, in those days, they were usually in several leadership positions in government, 20s, 30s, but today, not exactly the same thing. What do you think?
It's one of the things he has suggested while I listened to him was we need more youth involvement in areas of not just politics. We need you to be more involved on national discussions, on national debates, because if we, it has to happen that way. If you look at our current demographics, especially with regards to age of our leaders, today's Nigeria, 65% of the population are below 30. 72% of the population are below 35. So we have an economy where 75% of us are aged 1 to 35.
Do they have major say in what goes on economically or otherwise in the country?
Based on, if you now look at the demographics of the political party leaders, across all parties, they don't. Across all parties, without exception.
Do the figures show that perhaps there might be an improvement?
It's hard to interpret that from the figures. It will be hard to interpret that from the figures. But what the figures, more than the figures, especially when it comes to our age, or the age of our political leaders, is that if you look at, unfortunately, we don't have the figures on the age of our political leaders and looking at the average age of our business leaders. But from general discussions and debates, you will find out that the average age of our business leaders is significantly lower than the average age of our political leaders.
All right, Babajide Ogunsanwo, data and information analyst, economic researcher, thank you very much indeed for coming on today.
Thank you very much.